Hi, everyone, and welcome to Val Talks Pets, the forum for pet parents and enthusiasts alike. Having been in the pet industry for over 10 years now, I'm going to share with you issues and questions that arise as I work with pet parents on a day-to-day basis. I am not a veterinarian, but I do have certifications in canine, feline, small animal, fish and herptile, and avian health and nutrition from the University of California, Davis Extension. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Val Talks Pets and the second part of my interview with dog trainer Souha Ezzedeen. Notebooks ready? Let's get back to it. You talk about soundness.
Yes.
That sound dogs are thoughtful, calm, and balanced.
Yeah.
Because they can think, they can discriminate between situations, understand that some behaviors are acceptable in some places, but not others. Mm-hmm. When I read that, it reminded me a lot of, I've had, several dogs. One of my dogs that I had from the time he was 8 weeks up until he passed was a Rottweiler. He was a beautifully bred Rottweiler near from where I live now, CKC registered from German parents. Mm-hmm. They were Schutzhund champions. Mm-hmm. And so I took him just for some basic Schutzhund. I wasn't going to put him into trials or anything, but I liked the method. And so I took him to that. And the thing was all about creating a thinking dog. Mm-hmm. And when you mentioned about like the treating, yes, when we started very basic stuff, she would say, yeah, we give him a treats for this, but sometimes we don't. We give him a cat or a little whatever. And this way the dog never really knows how often he's going to get treats. So he'll keep on, wanting to do stuff for you because you're not really sure when the treat's going to come, or and eventually we don't need the treats. He's happy with the praise and working away from that, like you were just saying.
Yes.
And the idea of the thinking dog made so much sense to me, because she said one fellow was at the training and he said, I don't think this dog has any kind of protection drive at all. And she says, well, why do you think that? He says, well, I don't know.
About your dog, Val?
No, not mine. It was his.
Okay. Okay.
She says, what made you think that? And he said, well, because every time the pizza guy comes, he's just all over the guy. He loves him. And she said, well, do you give him pizza? And he's like, yeah. And she's just like waiting, like 2 + 2 here is going to equal 4 if you just think it through, right? Of course, the pizza man's his favorite friend if you give him pizza.
And that doesn't mean he can't be a badass protection dog on the field.
Exactly. So she says, no, this dog has thought.
Again, it's the judgments we make. The judgments we make.
He figured, you're a stranger at my door. You should be in protection mode. And the dog said, no, this is the guy who comes with the yummy stuff in the box.
That's it. Exactly. And a dog is able to tell the difference, right?
Thought it through.
What is expected in the field versus what's expected. You see these police dogs doing their work on the field and then going back home and hanging out with the kids, right?
Yeah.
They're perfectly capable. My oldest dog, who's 15, if one of the girls bumps him, he will show his displeasure. Okay. He'll growl. He'll show that, hey, pay attention to where you're going. Right. Last week, I had a boarding dog that is also old, very old, and that hangs out with us. So he's pretty much a stage 3 dog that is with us. He's kind of like the family. He's not just a dog that I'm boarding. He's kind of like the family. And he bumps my dog, Bob. And not a word from Bob.
Oh.
Nothing. Yeah. Because he knows this dog is a guest. This dog is not one of the girls I share my life with. So I'm just going to be quiet and let mom deal with this.
Yeah.
So that is the power of being sound. That is the power of being thoughtful. That is the power of non-reactivity, Val, the opposite of being reactive. Reactive, by definition, means I'm not thinking.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I get that. You're right.
Right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
react. They see
Yeah.
something, they
It's
react.
just a visceral thing as
That's
opposed
it.
to,
Now, the
yeah.
way we are unfair to dogs is that we're saying, well, that's instinct. Or
Mm-hmm.
he saw a squirrel, he couldn't help himself. He went after it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, you don't think a dog is capable of reining in his instinct?
Yes, he can.
Yeah, yes, he can.
Yes, he
You
can.
don't think he can be thoughtful enough
Mm-hmm.
to say, I'm going to let this squirrel go because it's across the street?
Yeah.
One of my girls is squirrel obsessed. She'll chase after them in our garden,
Mm-hmm.
but if she happens to be hanging out with me on the front yard
Mm-hmm.
and there's squirrels across the street on the neighbor's trees,
Mm-hmm.
she knows they're a different kind of squirrel.
Yeah. Yeah. Not my
They're not
script.
fair game
Yeah.
because there's this boundary in between,
Yeah.
and I'm not supposed to leave wherever my mom is,
Exactly.
right?
That's right.
So there's a whole industry about dealing with predatory behavior,
Yeah.
right? Dealing with predation, dealing with chasing after kids or kitties
Mm.
or wildlife. And meanwhile, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with training in those situations, but what the way of life creating in terms of whether we have a thoughtful dog or not,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm a student of herding, been doing herding for a long time. COVID put an end to it, unfortunately. My
Mm-hmm.
girls aged. We stopped going back, but I have seen it over time. These dogs that are packed with instinct,
Mm-hmm.
that are able to sit it out when needed and bring it out
Yeah.
when asked,
Yeah. It's
right?
amazing.
So why is that not possible for the pet dog?
It can be.
It absolutely can be.
But I think the human, as you're saying, is going, well, dogs chase squirrels. That's what
Mhm.
they do. Sees a
I know.
squirrel, he goes nuts.
Yeah, again, those are the ideas we have.
Mm,
So when I
yeah.
deal with people, one of the first things that I ask them to do is to not look at their behavioral issues for what they are,
Okay. Yeah.
but rather to look at them as the dog's way of telling us that we could do a better job with the way of life, really,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because we've made it all that it's the dog that is anxious. It's the dog that's reactive. It's the dog that has separation anxiety. They have it. It's in them. It's in their character.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, I tell my people all the time, and this is so powerful for them, is that these behavior issues are not just something that's happening to them. They reflect a myriad choices
Mm-hmm.
that we're making in our way of life, which can be organized into those elements we talked about, space and boundaries, socialization,
Mm-hmm.
how you're developing drives, your attitude about dogs. It's not a tip here or a trick there or a behavior modification protocol that's going to get this dog good. It's not. It's a more comprehensive approach to how you live with a dog, beyond training.
Yeah, because you're as you have in your methods there, the idea of taking them from reactivity to trust,
Yeah.
right? So you've got your strategies to, I think a lot of people, their dream is to be
Mhm.
able to walk their dog without being pulled in every direction because they
Yeah.
see a squirrel or they
Yeah.
see another dog and that they're end at the leash or they're growling because they're leash reactive.
Yeah.
All of these things. I think there's so many people that their dream is not to have that. You
Yeah.
know this because they're always looking for the tools, right? Do you
I
have
know.
halties? I
Oh,
need this, I need
the
da, da,
no
da,
pull
right?
harnesses,
And
the
no pull harness. Is this going to work? I don't know. Um, you know, we have talk about our dog a lot on the show with Tundra. Um, he's a community dog originally from Whitefish Bay First Nations up in Kenora.
Mhm.
And I can walk down, and sometimes we have to go a road as our road has gotten very busy over time. And in order
Mhm.
to get to the quieter spot, I have to go on that road.
Mhm.
but I can walk down that road with him at my side, just loose leash, nothing.
Beautiful.
He'll never do anything. And if we get into the place where it's nice and the farm and everything, if he puts his head up because he might hear a deer or something, all I have to just say is, I'll just say to him, pay attention to me.
Mm-hmm.
I just come back to me
Mm-hmm.
because you're not going to run after the deer and I'm not, going to just pay attention to me.
Yeah.
And he'll come back to that and okay, yeah, no, you're right. I'm supposed to be paying attention to you. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people want that. They want that dream so much.
Yes,
It's
they do.
it's 80-90% of people
Are struggling. And good on you
struggling.
to have dedicated an entire episode to leash pulling
Yeah.
because it is so misunderstood
Mm-hmm.
for what it represents,
Yep.
which to me is one of the telltale signs of a very anxious dog, is that they're
Yeah.
not aware of the person that they're with. You know,
Yeah, you're right.
when your way of life is sound and you have a sound dog, they're
Mm-hmm.
aware of what you're doing. They may not necessarily have the perfect leash manners right off the
Mm-hmm.
bat, but one of the things that are produced by a healthy way of life is what I call functional obedience.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Okay.
Functional obedience.
And
Okay.
that is the very natural, organic obedience
Mm-hmm.
that is produced by a dog that's raised well. You know, so I don't kill myself teaching leash manners and I don't kill myself teaching recall.
Mm-hmm.
I have a healthy way of life that makes this dog want to be with me,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
want to be at the very least aware of me,
Mm-hmm.
and want to be in my orbit,
Mm-hmm.
which is the concept of the three circles that I talk about in the book, is
Yep.
that the dogs have that by instinct of orbiting around their mom, orbiting around their person.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm a fan of using those long lines and
Yep.
working with dogs in places outside the sidewalks where we have room to allow natural movement and engagement without a line
Mm-hmm.
until eventually, the dog is there whether or not I have a line on.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it's the idea of working, assuming it's not even there and not relying on it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there's a client I told her recently, I said, I don't want to hear that leash. I don't want to hear the jingle in the leash. Let's keep it so loose
Yeah.
that the dog is right there with you,
Yep.
not because you're pulling on the leash. It's very uncomfortable for the dog, and you do not need it. You do not need to do that anymore. You've made such headway. She wants to be there.
Yeah.
But it's a big problem, Val, because there's the frustration that people feel about not being able to walk their dogs properly, not being able to exercise them properly, the shame that they feel, when the dog
Yeah.
is pulling, 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 and then they're so anxious, they see something. How are they not going to react?
I know.
They're already in a high anxious state, so they're
Yeah.
going to see something, they're going to react to it.
Yeah.
And then, as you know, it has spurred a massive industry of tools
Huge.
of various kind, huge,
I
huge.
don't know. They work.
It's in the billions, you know?
Yep.
Um, and meanwhile, I'm saying, why would man's best friend
Mm-hmm.
need all that?
Yeah.
What did we do before all this fancy technology?
Yeah.
That's not dog training anymore. That's dog technology.
Yeah.
And I'm in a whole other plane here. I'm saying if you have bond and you know where that bond comes from, it comes from your way of life and how you design it.
Mm-hmm.
That makes the dog realize, wait a minute, this is a person worthy of my bond. I kind of want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, they want to be around. I joke about taking one of my girls to a recall class just for kicks.
Oh yeah.
Um, and about how we pretty much flunked the class
No way.
because she just didn't want to leave my side.
Oh, okay. So she didn't go off to get
She
recalled.
didn't want to go off to be recalled.
Uh,
We did our
yeah.
restrained recalls. Those were nothing for her. She just wanted to come,
Yeah.
regardless of what I had to offer. I am her mom.
Yeah.
You but again, with the methodology, Val, the idea is to eventually mature this dog,
Yeah.
where we go from I'm your mom to now I'm your partner,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
your friend.
Yeah.
We're sharing adventure.
Yeah.
So it's not about keeping the dog in an eternal state of being infantilized,
Mm-hmm.
but it's about knowing that when they're new in your home, when they've been bounced around,
Yeah.
when they're a puppy, when you brought them home and you spent the last 3 years socializing, training, and slamming the dog with all sorts of experiences that they're not ready for and they're a reactive mess, you have to start from child.
Mm-hmm.
You
Start
have to
there.
start from that place, right? Where you're kind of like the mother figure.
Mm-hmm.
You're the protective parent.
Yeah.
There's nothing more dangerous in nature than a mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what does our dog think about us when we say, "Oh, sure, you can come say hi.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure, go say hi to the stranger." And meanwhile, I just brought you home.
Yeah.
That
No.
inner guidance is screaming.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, wait a minute, what is this? My mother wouldn't have done this.
Yeah.
My
Yeah. Yeah.
instinct tells me this is off. This is
Mm-hmm.
not consistent with what's natural.
Mm-hmm.
Raising these
Interesting.
dogs in stages.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it.
It's really nothing. It's really nothing so complicated, really, Val.
Yeah.
Other than applying basic rearing principles
Yeah.
to dogs that we consider our family members. We consider them family, but we're dispensing with rearing.
Yeah, and I think that same with your cases that you have in you've it's the same thing. What is people are looking for the fix
Yeah.
because my dog, I can't walk it. My dog destroys everything if I leave it out of the when I'm not, out of my eyes. It'll destroy everything in its sight.
Yeah.
The dog will run away. All of these things. I need an answer and I need a fix.
Yes.
So they come to you because they
Mhm.
want you to fix their dog. Give me the give me the magic potion that will fix this
Yes.
dog. That's what they want.
Yes. And I will tell you, Val, the people that are a good fit for the method
Mm-hmm.
are the people that have tried every
Everything.
tip, every trick.
Mm-hmm.
They would have tried the tools.
Yeah, sure.
They would have tried, the stuff their face with food. You know, they would have tried the using obedience commands to deal with reactivity. So things like watch me, leave
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah.
And that can only take you so far because the dog's upset at the
Mm-hmm.
core. The dog's upset. That's not gonna take you far.
Mm-hmm.
They might have even tried medication,
Oh, yes.
becoming increasingly common.
Yeah, it is.
So those that do well with me are those that really know that it's not going to be a tip or a trick or a hack.
Mm-hmm.
And they're desperate because they would have tried everything.
Yeah.
And what they have is an even worse situation now, Val, because now they have a dog that has been experimented on,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
with this tool, this trick, this medication.
Yeah.
This dog is mad as hell
Yeah. That's
because they can tell that they're being, a total lab rat, and we have no idea what the hell is going on with them. We do not see why they're upset.
mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, it's staring at us right before our eyes. Maybe it has something to do with how these dogs live.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it has something to do with how we relate to them as our life together unfolds. Another thing my clients tell me, and again, they're so amazing, they'll say, I have a plan now. I
Mm-hmm.
have a vision for life with this dog, what I need to do when we're just getting started, what we're going to do when they start to be comfortable with me. That's going to be the time to go out there in the world and do crazy training and go to Schutzhund and go to Sentinel, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then stage 3 is this dog that has proven himself to me.
Mm-hmm.
This dog that has gone to school and gotten good grades,
Yeah.
right? And now they get to really be free and included, and everyone loves them, and they're on the couch, and whatever
Yep.
you want your life with them to look like,
Yep.
that is where you can give it.
Mm-hmm.
Give it,
Yeah.
you know. But the dog wants to have earned it
Yeah. Yeah.
instead of being given it immediately,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So this is so rich, Val.
Yeah.
It's so rich and it's fun and it's intellectual and it changes people. Because when people have to think differently and do differently, and they start
Yeah.
to see how their dog is responding, they know they made that happen.
Sure.
And it gives them such an incredible feeling
Mm-hmm.
of self-efficacy, of self-esteem, of restoring faith in their love of dogs and wanting to share life with dogs because now they know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Not just how to train, but how to actually live with this dog on the day to
Mm-hmm.
day. You know, you mentioned the Toby at the start of our chat.
Yeah.
And actually, Toby's mom had a bit of a hard time with her mother because her mother had ideas about the method
Oh,
that she wasn't happy about.
right.
You
Okay.
know, like, why can't I see him?
Oh, yeah.
Why can't I spoil him? Why can't you bring him? You know, all that jazz, right?
Yeah.
And here I said to my client, I said, is this putting undue pressure on you that now you're feeling that you've got to do things differently with Toby? And she says, oh, no, no, no. You know, my mother's had lots of dogs, but she's never trained a dog in her life.
Well, there's that.
Well, my client is not a professional trainer, but she felt like her dog's trainer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Wow.
that's what this method gives is a sense that I'm the one who, with my decisions,
Mm-hmm.
being deliberate with my decisions, with how this dog lives and what kinds of thoughts and feelings am I projecting onto the dog as well,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that can be difficult,
Yeah.
but doing something difficult and then see this dog recover and thrive.
Mm-hmm.
What it does to people is, you know, I'm very happy to see dogs recover, but I'm over the moon when I see people becoming just a different person now, a more confident person, a more resourceful person, a more patient person
Mm-hmm.
with members of their family or at work, how it
Mm-hmm.
affects them outside of their life with dogs. It transforms them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, it gives them such a sense of, like I said earlier, it's not something that's happening to you. This is something you have control over.
Mm-hmm.
You just need the guidance on
Yeah,
how
I
to
can
apply
see
it.
that. I can see that. This is they definitely need your guidance. When people that are going into this place now, they've
Yes.
tried everything and they're going here. And I can see that your guidance through this for them is absolutely pivotal to be
Yes, it can
successful.
be. And then again, you know, there's a client in not a client actually, but a member of my Facebook group. I have a growing Facebook group of people who are applying the method.
Hmm.
It's called the Way of Life Method Working Group for anyone who's interested in joining a community of people who, you know, we're way of lifers, basically. These people just think differently, do differently.
Hmm.
And there's a woman in there in the Czech Republic who's you know, who's got the book and is applying the book and is doing great
Good.
without
On
me,
our own. Yeah.
right on her own. And I suspect that there's many people who can manage that way on their own, but I also have programs that are designed to help people implement the method, you know, group programs as well
Yeah.
as one-on-one programs. You know, I have an online group coaching that is proving to be very successful because people all over the world can attend. Even people who are local can attend. And, you know, we meet once a week and we're on a Zoom call and I coach them on how to apply the method and how to deal with any setbacks that they could be encountering, you know. So there's ways basically to support people on this journey. One book cannot possibly hold all of the different scenarios and all of the different
Yeah.
possibilities. I have stories in there and I have case studies in
Yeah,
there
you're
that
great.
really resonate with people,
Hmm.
but no one book can potentially speak to all of the different scenarios in between the different behavior issues, the different kinds of dogs,
Oh,
the different breeds. I mean,
yeah. It's endless.
it's endless.
Yeah.
It boggles the mind, the
Yeah.
different scenarios of how we would have to apply the method.
Hmm.
But the method still has to be applied in its core principle because
Mm.
the reason that it works is for all the parts to work together.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and since publishing the book, it's been interesting to see what people have done with it.
That's good.
You know, some people have taken bits and pieces that have made their life better, and
Hmm.
others are more pure. They're more purist with the method and want to go all out
Hmm.
and really apply it correctly. But, as long as there's a change and a positive change, of course, I'm happy, I'm grateful. But I particularly get a kick out of working with people where either we're working one-on-one or they've been training with me for a long time, and where I get to see
Yeah.
how this dog is now safe,
Yeah.
how this dog is now a dignified, noble, beautiful animal, as opposed to, this dog that is half the dog he could be,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Because he's saddled by all this anxiety and all these, and a way of life that really could use improvement. So it's very powerful and empowering. But I will tell you, the difficulty of the method is that it's different.
Yeah, I see that. It is a different approach. I think
Mhm.
it's going to take a little bit of a leap of faith for some
Yes.
people to jump in. But I think, as you say, some people are at the end of the road here. We've done
Yes.
everything,
Yes.
and so they're open to
They're open. Yeah. Just
I
like
will
I
do this.
was, just like I was
Yeah,
open. I
with
was like,
Maya.
listen, because with Maya, I had done everything, Val,
Yeah,
except putting her on medication. That is one thing I did
yeah,
not do.
I'll do that.
But I had smashed socialization into, we're going to
Yeah,
play groups, we're going to parties, we're going to dog parks, you know what
yeah,
I mean? So
yeah.
I'd overdone it that way.
Hmm.
They said train early, and so I'm going all out with the commands, watch me, leave it,
Hmm.
suppressing this dog, taking away natural thought
Hmm.
and trying to replace it with conditioning,
Hmm.
right? And the other thing that I did with Maya as well was we were at all kinds of sports because I thought that's what's gonna, they tell you, oh, you got to do agility, you got to go do dog
Hmm.
diving, you got to go
Yeah.
do that. And meanwhile, she shined in those situations. She was an incredible worker.
Hmm.
But none of that helped the reactivity and aggression and anxiety and submissive urination and whatever else I was dealing with.
Yeah,
It did not
exactly.
help, you
Wow.
know? And then when I discovered Caesar Milan,
Oh, yeah.
you know, it was all now about exercising this dog. And I exercised her, I would say, to the point of injury,
Oh.
you know, thinking that that is what she needed. The other thing that Caesar Milan made acceptable is correcting dogs, and that harsh punishment. Which when I first saw that, I was like, oh, that must be what I've been missing all this time.
Mm.
As I say in the book, it felt like an epiphany.
Hmm.
She's not gotten corrected well enough.
Mm.
But then once I started to correct her, and that's why I tell people, listen, I've done all of it. I've done all of it. You can't put more shame than what I have felt with all the mean things that I did to her, thinking that that is what she needed.
Yeah.
So, by the time I got wind of my former mentor, and they had a completely different approach, I was ready and desperate and experienced enough to know that it wasn't going to be easy. It
Hmm.
wasn't going to be quick because I'd done the quick.
Hmm.
I'd done the tricks and the hacks and the whatever else that they tell us to do. Um, and not only had I not gone anywhere, but once I started to correct her, the level of danger that she presented went to the next level.
Really?
Because what happens with corrections that are early, Val,
Hmm.
and that are harsh and that are premature,
Hmm.
where you don't have bond with your dog to be disciplining this dog, you got nothing with him, and he's still a child when you're getting started, right?
Hmm.
Remember that archetype? It's so powerful. Am I disciplining a child?
Hmm.
How right is that? If
Hmm.
her mind is so, all fuzzed up from years of anxiety, years of separation anxiety, years of reactivity, and I'm going to discipline this dog. Now, in my approach, there is a place for discipline,
Hmm.
but it comes later when I have a stronger dog,
Hmm.
when I have a more evolved, powerful dog. And here's the thing, when you have foundations with your dog, your reprimand is light. It's a simple show of displeasure.
Yeah.
Hey, stop that.
Yeah.
Get off it. Come here, you. My tone changes.
Yeah.
But because I have foundations with the dog, that matters.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I actually upset this
Yeah.
person that I really love.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah. They taught us that in Schutzhund. Never over correct, never over discipline. A
Mhm.
simple no is
And go
all you
such a
need, and
long
that's
way
it. He understands
when he
your body
cares.
language and everything. You don't need to go over the top with
No, you
this.
don't.
And of course there was some, you have to teach them, like not to, chew on the cat, or things like that. Is
100%. And
is
there
not a good
comes a
thing to do.
time for
Don't do
that.
that.
So in the method, Val, at the beginning, you're not exposing the dogs a whole lot
Mm-hmm.
to things that could cause them to mess up,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're ignorant.
You don't want to
They're a
set them up for
child still.
failure.
So we work more on the primordial
Yeah.
socialization and what I call distal, looking at things from a distance
Mm-hmm.
and learning to ignore those things. Think about how many people's lives would be better simply if their dogs learned to ignore things.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is the challenge of distal socialization.
Mm-hmm.
Once you start to grow this dog and you're getting into stage 2, where now the archetype is not the child archetype anymore, but the adolescent,
Mm-hmm.
right? This growing being that is ready now for an education where you can kick up your socialization to what I call proximal, where you're getting closer to things,
Mm-hmm.
and interactional, where you're allowing interaction. But because you have foundation, the dog is open to your guidance as you start to open up their world, as you start to introduce them to other dogs. You start to introduce them to the extended family, the cats.
Mm-hmm.
Dog is looking to you
Mm-hmm.
for how do you want me to deal with this situation exactly? And then you show them how, and they're interested in your guidance.
Mm-hmm.
But what we do is we put dogs together with everybody else, with the cats, with the
Yeah.
bunnies,
Yeah.
quickly. And really, not long ago, I was on a call with someone whose standard poodle killed the cat.
Oh. Oh my God.
A show dog, beautiful dog, prize dog,
Oh.
expensive animal. And when she described to me the way of life, that's why we do these way of life audits, right?
Mm.
It's almost always the same situation, Val. We have
Really?
very little with this dog. We give them very much. We expose them a lot with stress.
Mm-hmm.
One cat swats his face and this dog's lost it.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what I said to the woman is that if it makes you feel
Tough.
any better,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very sorry, but if it makes you feel any better, once we did the way of life audit, where we went through all the different aspects of how she sees the dog, how she
Mm-hmm.
manages him, how she socializes him, whether he's got an outlet for his natural energies, etc., or he is taking them out on the cat, who he has free access to.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we talk space and boundaries. I said to her, I'm not surprised.
Wow.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Given what you describe, after all, the elements, we talked about all the elements, the dog, his way of life, and so on. It wasn't a surprise,
Yeah.
And so on the one hand, that can be painful to hear, but on the
Yeah.
other hand, like I said earlier, we're about trying to empower people
Mm-hmm.
that if you had done this, and this, you would have had a very different situation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's inevitable that people are going to feel regret.
Oh my gosh.
If they're like, I should have known better. I should have,
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
yeah, should have. And what I tell them is that be grateful for the experience. It brought you to me.
Yeah. Well,
Now
yeah.
you're going to see things differently.
Mm-hmm.
And this is never going to happen to you or a dog that you live with or a cat that you live with, unless it's a pure accident and it's not
Yeah.
something that was produced by being nonchalant with our way of life,
Yeah.
which we are
Oh,
in
it's a
many
tough.
ways. And so all I'm saying with this method is be more deliberate with how you live with this dog.
Mm-hmm. And it's all, I find that from a looking at things from even nutrition and health side of things.
Oh, yes.
One of the things that is often mentioned by holistic practitioners that I've talked to, they often say, our dogs tell us a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They tell us, I know I don't want to eat that. It makes me feel sick.
Yeah.
Or it makes me feel this. And
Yeah.
we are like, I don't understand what's wrong with you. Eat this.
Yeah.
And we found at first, Tundra's half husky, and he would not eat. One every once in a while, he'd just be like, "Nope, not eating." And we were like, "What is wrong with the dog?" And
Mm-hmm.
husky owners said to me, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's a husky thing. They do that." So I kind of looked it up a little bit, found out there is some biology behind it. But now
Mm-hmm.
we just go, give him his breakfast or something. If he walks away, we'll try one more time. You sure you don't want breakfast? He'll look at it and we'll go, okay, never mind. It's a husky day. And never
Mm-hmm.
mind. He just his choice. I don't want to eat today. Okay, fine. That's fine. Don't eat if you don't want to. You'll eat when you feel like it.
I find a lot of dogs that like to work or have working dogs in them or have, this legacy of being a working dog that
Yeah.
their needs are minimal in many
Yeah,
ways.
they are. Yeah,
They're
they
kind of like
are.
a low maintenance animal in the sense that,
Totally.
right?
And he doesn't play. He's never known how to play. So probably no one ever played with him when he was little.
Right.
Uh, we tried at first. He doesn't have a clue. And so he's not interested. And there's no point trying to make him do something he doesn't want to do.
Right.
So we just never mind with that because he doesn't want to. He's not interested.
So,
That's his choice.
it is his choice, but it's also where he could be. So there's clients that I've worked with where, again, it goes back to that discussion we had earlier about
Mm-hmm.
the drives, Val. You
Mm-hmm.
know, is that, I'll tell people don't be expecting a lot of toy drive or ball drive
Mm-hmm.
if
Yeah.
your food drive is iffy,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But then you also have dogs that, like Mal's, for example, where they just want to tug and they just want to
Oh,
bite and they just want to,
yeah.
right? But what I see in those people is the trainers going quickly to toy and tug drive
Mm-hmm.
and flying over food,
Mm-hmm.
not spending enough time building a desire for food,
Mm-hmm.
which actually is a calming drive,
Mm-hmm.
whereas toys and prey is a stimulating drive.
Yeah,
You need both. You
exactly.
need both. Food is calming, toys and
Oh, like
tugs, whatever, are
the
stimulating.
fly ball dogs, right? They're going
Exactly. That
berserk,
are
right?
so up there,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. But the idea of the progression being something that all dogs sort of have, that they start with food and then toys and
Mm-hmm.
then pack.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give up very fast, when people tell me that a dog is more or less not interested in food because
He's interested in food.
which is good, right? Which is good. But I'll joke about the fact that a real dog, between quotes,
Mm-hmm.
a real dog doesn't turn down food.
Yeah, no, he'll eat food, all right.
Right?
Yeah.
So the idea is this dog in touch with his dogness
Mm-hmm.
that he'll take just anything. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's very healthy and I'm not saying feed your dog anything, obviously, but
No.
in my book and in my teachings and in my coaching, I help people precisely
Mm-hmm.
set up a way of life that with time brings out very healthy, natural drives that we can work with in the direction of raising our dogs, deepening our bonds with them, and healing behavioral issues.
Mm-hmm.
Bring out that fire, bring out that energy that they have naturally. And now it becomes something that you do together and that is bonding instead of something that the dog uses against you.
Yeah.
Like the case of your Ridgeback
Yeah.
associate, where all the strength and power is being used against her,
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's a sad thing. Yeah, I
But
know.
also workable. Maybe she'll read the book and find benefit.
Yeah, well, when I talk to her next time, I will definitely be saying that to her. That's for sure. Um, wow, we've been at this for a little while now. It's
You have.
so much to learn here, and I really
How
enjoy
has it
it.
resonated with you, though, Val?
Really
I'm
good. I'm
curious.
learning an awful lot. I'm seeing some very different approaches. I always have things where there's a little bit of a, oh, hold on a minute, and
Yes.
think about something that might, oh, that reminds me of this, or, that's
Mhm.
an idea. And basically not even that, it also gives me an opportunity to, when you validate as well, because I think that we do have a very sound dog. He's when I looked at this and I read it, I'm like, no, that's definitely what we've accomplished. Not that I take credit for a lot of stuff. I think he had, somewhere along the line in his life, somebody taught him things, and
Mhm.
then somehow he became a community dog. I don't know how that happened. When he came to us, I think he'd forgotten a lot, but it took minimal effort for him to remember all kinds of things.
Mhm.
When I think of the first day we were fostering first from the SPCA. When I
Mhm.
brought him home, I had to go pick him up, and I brought him home, and I came in the garage and he had to come up the stairs. He did not know how to go upstairs, had no
Oh,
clue.
right.
I didn't know that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh no, what am I going to do now? He had no clue how to go up the stairs, very upset with that. So I got him to come up, and literally in a blink of an eye, he came in, peed all over my plants, took a chicken carcass out of the compost, ate it, and jumped on the couch. In seconds, like right before, I'm like, what just happened? I couldn't believe it. My husband came home and he's like, how did it go? I'm like, well, you see him now lying on the couch, sound asleep? Well, let me tell you what just happened. But I let him sleep there. He slept for about 24 hours on
Mm.
the couch. And then he kind of came around and was like, okay, what's happening here? And we
Mhm.
didn't know much about him. And we kind of went with sort of his directions and kept him, I didn't know what he was going to do. So I kept him on a horse lunge line at first outside. And, so he had room, but not,
Mhm.
but I had still a control. So he was on a lunge line and, that kind of thing. And, gradually and everything, until now I think of like, oh my gosh, we can walk around up into our forest and everything, and we'll go together, and he'll wander around and I'll wander around looking at stuff, and then I'll look up, and if I say to him, Tundra, he'll just look up at me and he'll come tottering back, but he knows
Right.
I'm there.
Yeah.
I know he's there.
Yeah.
We're,
That's great. Good for
and I
you
think,
both.
yeah, and he's very laid back. And so I feel that he's definitely at that. I mean, he's a senior dog now too, but
Mhm.
he's sound, and I like that idea.
That's
And I
great.
like the idea of this idea about looking at redefining our dog training methods. I think
Mhm.
you're right about introducing things so early. I just, let them be a dog. They taught us that at training too. Let
Yes,
him be a dog. He's got to be a
exactly.
dog. Stop.
Yeah.
Why do everybody want them to learn everything so fast? She said, let them be a dog,
100%.
you know?
And
So,
they'll learn so much better for you. If
yeah.
they have the right to a childhood,
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
exactly.
if they have the right to be ignorant for a while and childish for a while and
And
not be delivering
explore. And yeah.
and performing,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
early.
Yeah. And all of these,
Um,
things that you have to learn and do. And
yeah, and
it's
and
like,
do them early, 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 quickly, quickly, and you see that a lot in sport because
yeah.
people are very invested in their sport and invested in trialing in their sport. And so they want to get this new puppy started early
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
in their sport and discipline, not realizing that the sport and discipline is very easy for a dog to pick up if they have the right foundations. It's
Mm-hmm.
putting those foundations that is a little less evident
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
it's more comprehensive. It's more you've got to, there's a lot of detail that you got to attend to. Training is easy in comparison. And for a dog that is sound and that resonated with you, that is clear-headed
Yeah.
and that is bonded,
Yeah.
training is a breeze. But
Yeah.
I see people training dogs they don't have a lot of relationship material with.
Mm-hmm.
They would have just brought this dog home. This dog is barely settled in
Yeah.
the home, and they bring him to agility class. He's
Yeah.
reactive. He's reactive, and then they're saying we have a reactive dog.
Yeah.
We slap the label.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm saying, no, your way of life is producing this. Back off.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, don't go to a place where the trainer doesn't care about your relationship. They just care about you learning this sport, learning this thing. You are responsible to make sure that you go to a place like that with the requisite relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you
Mm-hmm.
don't need years and years and years. You need some amount of foundation where the dog knows wherever I go with this person,
Mm-hmm.
I succeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the confidence in
Exactly.
that the dog has in you, but at the same time, it's your confidence too. And I really
Yes.
also believe very strongly that what I'm feeling is
100%.
going straight into that dog.
Oh, yes.
And I know that that is a Caesar Milan thing too. He says your energy goes through that leash or whatever. I
Oh, it's
know,
a good
right?
point. It is a good
You
point.
know.
Imagine the difference in your energy, Val.
Hmm.
You've actually spent some time with this dog
Hmm.
doing stage one stuff and starting to build this rapport.
Yeah.
Imagine how you're going to feel when it's time for you to take that dog to your agility class.
Yeah.
The confidence that you will feel, knowing that you know the kind of animal that you're taking there. You know, I talk about this dog in the book, a foster. That was a foster. That wasn't even my dog.
Hmm.
And there were some elements of the method that she struggled with. She didn't like the crating in the overnight. She struggled with that, but we carried on. We carried on. There's no choices here. You know, there has to be containment, and this dog is not mine to stay. She's
Yeah.
not mine to stay. She cannot understand that this is her home.
Hmm.
Because that's yet another heartbreak. And that's a whole other podcast episode, Val. But what
No
we do with
kidding.
our foster dogs, letting them believe that they are here to stay. That
Hmm.
is not right. So, anyhow, we spent 3 weeks doing stage one stuff. Simple schedule, limited exposure, tiring the dog, giving her good physical exercise, giving her lots of rest, lots of time to decompress. And then we had to go to the vet to do a check for the rescue to clear her for adoption. The vet says this is not the dog that I saw 3 weeks ago.
Hmm.
And it's not like I had spent the last 3 weeks conditioning this dog to behave at the vet's.
Hmm.
I had just handled her a certain way at home, related to her a certain way, and boom, we had to go to the vet. What does she do? She shines
Yeah. Yeah.
because she was calm. She got
Calm.
some rest. She decompressed.
Yeah.
She realized that she was with someone who's making decisions for her
Yeah.
when she's not in a time or space or headspace to be making those decisions. I'm taking the stress completely away from her by making decisions for her.
Yeah.
And this dog went and got adopted to someone who wasn't right.
Oh no.
Yeah, 2 weeks. And then she ended up going back to
Mm.
the head of the rescue. They never told me that happened.
Oh.
I was livid about that.
Yeah.
But the good news was that when the head of the rescue took her to his house and handled her properly, he could see she was brilliant.
Hmm.
She was excellent. Handled correctly and given a bit of time and some boundaries to start, he realized it wasn't an issue with her, it was an issue with the home.
Right.
And then eventually he found her the perfect home where she's been
Oh, that's great.
ever since. But this is to say, Val, that if you're dealing with issues at the vet, issues with pulling, issues with a dog being very powerful, yes, you need to deal with it in the moment. But more importantly, is everything else that you are doing outside of that situation
Hmm.
that is either going to make that situation easy on the dog or hard on the dog. You know, when we're talking about vet visits, we talk about oppositional socialization. That is the highest level of socialization, the hardest.
Hmm.
That is where a dog feels invaded.
Hmm.
That is where the dog feels intruded upon at the vets or at the
Yeah.
groomers.
Yeah.
It's the highest level because the more you have primordial
Hmm.
and you've done the steps correctly, the more the oppositional experiences of life,
Hmm.
people touching a dog, kids
Hmm.
invading the dog space, grooming visits, vet
Hmm.
visits, they become more tolerable for the dog,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? Because they would have had the benefit of that gradual socialization. And the entire time, the primordial is getting stronger and
Hmm.
stronger and stronger and stronger that you get to the vets and it's nothing for the dog.
Hmm.
One of my girls, very sensitive about her body, doesn't want her body touched. Not a mean dog,
Hmm.
will never bite you, but don't touch
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Don't
Mm-hmm.
touch my feet. Don't touch my tail.
Yeah.
And over the years, my vet has complimented how much she's gotten better and better and better at the vets. And she said, "Do you do conditioning things or things to get her, better with this?" And I said, "No, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I just work on making her constantly more sound, more strong, more
Mm-hmm.
spirited.
Mm-hmm.
And then the things of life with humans that can be hard sometimes,
Yep.
like walking across reactive dogs or being at the vets or,
Yeah.
right, being poked and prodded or whatever. It becomes just more manageable for the dog because they have you.
Yeah.
And you would have given them so many positive experiences that this is nothing for them.
Yeah.
They're
Well, I
like,
know
whatever, I'll take it.
when you go to the vet, it's like, I mean, I'm sure he doesn't like it. I know they don't like it. I don't like going to the doctor or the dentist or any one of those things either. But you know what? I have to do it. It's just the way it
Yes.
is. I got to suck it up
Yeah.
and go. And so I sort of, last time we've been going through some stuff with him, and he doesn't want to be there. I get it. But he does a strange behavior. Everybody thinks, "Oh, it's so cute. Look, he's giving his paw." I'm like, no, he gives his paw to you when he's stressed. That's what he
Yeah.
does.
It's an appeasement
Yeah.
behavior.
So he's learned that somewhere. I learned that fairly quickly after we got him. Like, no, he does this when he's stressed or upset
Yeah.
or something. So
Yeah.
everybody thinks, "Oh, look, he's so cute. He gives
I
his paw."
know.
And I'm
And
like,
they end up
no, that's
reinforcing the,
not what that is. That's
yeah. Good
saying
for
I'm
you.
stressed. So he'll do that. And but what I'm trying to project to him is it's okay. I'm
Mhm.
here. Nothing's going to happen to you I am not going to let happen any bad to you. And I'm right with you. And unfortunately, this is part of what you have to do. We all have to do
Exactly.
stuff we don't want to do. This is
100%.
for you too. And it'll be over
100%.
and we'll go home.
That's it.
Don't worry about it.
The author and ethicist, Jessica Pierce, who wrote Run, Spot, Run,
Mm-hmm.
has a new book, Who's a Good Dog and How to Be a Better Human. She uses the term compassionate force,
Yeah.
that there's
Yeah.
got to be
It's a
a
good
certain
one.
amount of force. But what I'm saying is that if you have your way of life organized correctly and you've raised a sound, strong, spirited dog,
Mm-hmm.
those inevitable experiences that involve compassionate force, like being
Hmm.
treated at the vets,
Yeah.
are experienced very differently by the dog.
Yeah.
Very differently,
Yeah.
There's a new movement as well about cooperative care,
Mm-hmm.
with Dr. Deb Jones, the
Mm-hmm.
idea of teaching dogs to cooperate with being muzzled or having blood taken
Yeah.
or whatever. So there's a place for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
The training elements, the interacting with the dog to get them to be more in agreement with, to cooperate more in the
Mm-hmm.
care that they're given. But again, the nature of the relationship between the dog and the person, it can make all the difference in the world into whether the cooperative care even matters to the dog,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? So it's very powerful, and I think it completes this picture that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And just a very quick tidbit, Val, years and years and years of being in class with other people and hearing people ask their trainers about behavior. Why does my dog do this? Why does she do this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even if it was the agility trainer, even if it was the scent detection trainer or the
Yep.
herding trainer, they're asking questions about behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting to see the expression on their face when they would get answers that they could tell, "Oh, is that all there is to it?
Mm.
I have a feeling there's more to it." And when I talk to people about way of life, they're like, I could tell, I always knew there was more to behavior than what we're being told. And this is helping me
Mm-hmm.
better understand why my dog is doing what they're doing, that it's not just that they're a rescue or they're a cattle dog
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
they're a teenager,
Yeah.
a terrible twos, that
Yeah.
there's actually this whole way of life
Yeah.
that is driving their behavior. And that's true of any living being, is that
Yeah.
we reflect our way of life
So
ultimately.
true. Yeah.
Right?
Well, Suha, I think we're going to leave it here because we have covered so
I know we
much
have.
stuff.
This was
Um,
so rich. Thank you so
so,
much.
well, thank you. Your book, The Way of Life Method, would you like to just let people know where they can get it?
Yes, absolutely. So if you go onto my website,
Mm-hmm.
wayoflifedogtraining.com, and you go to resource,
Wayoflifedogtraining.com.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
wayoflifedogtraining.com, and you go to resources.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you can find all of my resources, including my book. So if you click on book, you'll be able to see all the retailers that are selling the book, where the book is available. You'll also be able to find all the platforms where the audiobook is available also, because
Oh,
it's
that's
available
awesome.
in audio, it's available in ebook,
Mm-hmm.
it's available in hard copy, and you can find all of the retailers on the book page under resources.
Excellent. That's great.
Yeah. If
Well,
you wanted to go straight to the book page, it would be thewayoflifemethod.com.
okay. Awesome.
That takes you straight to the book.
And you said you have your Facebook
I
group.
have my Facebook group, which I invite anyone who's interested in the method, has started with the method, is reading the book.
And do they just access that by going to the Way of Life Method on Facebook?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
Under Way of Life Dog Training, you'll see the group under the featured
Mhm.
section, but you can also search for it, the Way of Life Method Working Group.
And if someone wanted to contact you directly, what would you prefer?
They can go on my website, and there's a place where they can contact me, and there's a place where they can book a free call.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Excellent. Oh, that would be wonderful. Okay. Well, thank you again, Suha.
Thank you so
I
much.
think we should touch base at another time
I
with
would love
regards
that.
to the rescue dogs.
I
And
would love that. I would love to talk to you more about what this method can do for rescue dogs.
yeah, we should
It can
touch base
do
about that.
to revolutionize fostering, Val.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if you see the power of way of life to heal issues,
Mm-hmm.
then anyone who fosters
Mm-hmm.
has a tool at their hands to help their rescue dogs recover
Mm-hmm.
and become a lot more adoptable. I mean, the potential for rescue and fostering is huge. And it was really the primary motive
Mm-hmm.
for me,
Oh, good.
is
Yeah.
to really target this population where, I have clients that say, well, I'm not really concerned about what they're telling me at the shelter
Mm-hmm.
about him
Mm-hmm.
doing this or him doing that.
Yeah.
I know that the way of life method is going to straighten all of it out.
I totally
And
agree
so
with
people
that.
are
So
no longer afraid of
afraid.
whatever
Yeah.
labels the dog came with. I'm like,
Yeah.
just give me the dog,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, I'll tell you the little tidbit here at the end because my husband was the one who wanted to foster Tundra. He was working at the SPCA at the time, and he had a very serious medical condition called blastomycosis, and he was
Hmm.
very much near death, actually. And
Sorry about that.
so they found a way to, once it was finally diagnosed, he was on some very heavy medication that
Mhm.
saved his life. And so they thought, well, he recuperated, it'd be better if he recuperated in a home. And
Yeah.
so my husband quickly had his hand up, I'll do it. And so he told me about this, and I said, oh, okay, all right. He has to get along with the cats and everything. He goes, oh, apparently it should be fine. Okay, fine. So, anyways, that's how I ended up bringing him home, and we started, doing what we're supposed to do. And I said, so what happens? Like when he's better and he's cleared for adoption, like
Yeah.
what happens then? And he
Yeah.
said, and he goes, oh, well, actually, the agreement was foster to adopt.
Ah.
He's like, you didn't tell me that part.
Right.
So I said, so we adopt him. He's like, well, yeah. I said, okay, okay, I get it. So yeah, that's how there was no in his head. There was no in
There
between.
was there was
It was
no adopting out the dog.
it was he was gonna.
Well, the world of rescue is huge, as you know. I
So
mean,
yeah,
and
that was
and
fun.
there's all sorts of different ways of going about it,
Yep.
right?
Yep. But
Some
you
are a
always
bit
get,
more
you don't necessarily get
serious.
the dog you want. You get the dog you need, right? So yeah. Well, thanks, Suha. We're going to leave it
Long as we're
here.
all happy. Thanks
Yes,
again so much,
absolutely.
Val.
You're very welcome. And
It
we
was
will be
great. You
chatting
asked
with you
great
soon.
questions.
Okay, great. You have a great night and we'll talk to you soon.
You as well.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, I really thank Souha for taking the time to speak with me. She is so passionate about her commitment to creating sound and spirited canine companions. It's always interesting and uplifting when you find someone who looks at dogs in a holistic way, being innovative, separate from the traditional sit, treat, come here, and treat style of training. If what Souha talked about resonated with you, especially if you are having challenges with your dog, perhaps checking out the Way of Life method by Souha Ezzedeen is something for you. I'd like to thank Souha again, not just for taking time to chat, but also for forging new and creative thoughts for our canine companions. Because as I say, knowing is caring. Thank you for listening to Val Talks Pets. Please remember to follow or subscribe to ensure that you never miss an episode. To really help the show and to make it easier for others to find, please rate and review each episode that you find interesting and helpful. And don't forget that you can also email me at val@valtalkspets.com with topics you would like me to address or with any questions you may have. Also, check out my website at valtalkspets.com and let me know what you think and how we can improve upon it. Thanks for caring.